Good to see you, Josh. How are you?
Thanks for coming.
Good.
I'm good, man. Real good. Excited.
Yeah? All right.
All
So
right.
let's start. We're going to start with your left hand.
All right.
Right? You know why we start with your left?
I don't know why. Tell me.
Because you lead with your left, right? You finish with your left. We're going to be throwing this motherfucker all night long, okay?
To try to make it's all part of the psychological preparation, right?
Very much.
You want the fighter to be confident, even if it's not really that different.
Yep.
Maybe a little tighter, or you put a little bit extra tape on that left hand. If he wants his left hand a little better or different, you know.
Yeah. Well, and 10 years and God no, 10 years, 10 years, 4 sports, hundreds and hundreds of reps. I've never had anybody injure themselves. Come away with like a really hurt hand. I've had, no breaks, nothing like that. So I'm very proud of that. That being said, I'm slow, right? If I get rushed, that's where bad things might happen. And occasionally in amateur boxing, I do end up getting a little rushed. But one of the reasons why I try to wrap early is because I'm a little slower. So I'm going to start with your knuckle pad. I'm going to have you put your hand out here.
Yeah.
Put your fingers nice and wide for me. So what I like to do is I'm going to everybody's hands are a little different. So I start 2, 3, 4, 5. I have you put your fingers together. Slide that off. I put it on mine. So now I know that's Josh's knuckle pad, right? So then I just start and right about all the way down my hand to about there. Come back up. Since I know the knuckles are gonna be kind of on this side here, I do an extra couple. If you go evenly down and back and up and back, you're gonna end up with like a bulge in the middle,
right? Rather
than kind of giving myself some extra. And for the gauze that I use, it's typically 1 roll that I do here, since this is about 2 rolls of gauze. Go. I gotta go this way. I don't know. It's kind of like the toilet paper on the, everybody has their own. There's right
only
way.
One way to do it. Why would you want it scraping against the wall? Like it's got to come off the front.
So I try not to go. I think doing MMA for so long, I got nervous about going too far down the forearm because obviously you can't have anything sticking out from the short little gloves. So I've started to go a little further down the cuff, but I also don't want to start constricting these muscles, because there's nothing worse when the guy can't make a good fist, or these muscles start to fatigue from like having to fight against the rep.
Yeah. Yeah, because after we wrap our hands, we're gonna fight, right?
Absolutely.
But one hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. One each.
Yeah,
man.
one each.
Your good shoulder, my good shoulder. We'll see where we end up. And then some guys don't want their thumbs wrapped. Tough. I've had too many, I've seen too many broken thumbs, again, coming out of MMA, guys throwing those big dumb overhands, breaking their thumbs. So some people don't want their thumbs wrapped. I tell them tough. I don't care if they're grapplers, boxers, kickboxers, Muay Thai. It doesn't matter, man. I'm doing that.
Right.
So when I put my knuckle pad down, I actually want it to cover the back of the hand. I want good compression on the back of the hand. My big concern is a boxer's fracture, meaning as you hit those little bones, those little metacarpals there, they want to go somewhere, right? That force is going to bend this way, this way, this way. And so when they bend up, when they bow, that's where you start to get those little fractures and stuff. So the more I can have good pressure on the hand here, the less likely I am for an injury like that. So when I'm here, before I get too far in securing it, and again, I'm trying to go a little stiff, tighter across the top, and then not as tight across the bottom, so I can still get our splitters in there. I kind of have you keep your fingers out because I'm going to press against them as I, rather than fold, I'm going to do like a sleeping bag. I'm going to try to roll this gauze up. Here, trying not to let my pinky get away from me. This is probably about the hardest part, but I really want that like feeling good. So I do about 2 unwraps there, and I have you make a fist. I make sure that it's in front of the knuckles because the problem with this method is that it can pull the pad back.
Right.
But I want to make sure I got good knuckle coverage. I'm feeling pretty good about that. And just real quick, as a note, I'm going a little stiffer here, and then no pressure on the underside so that we're not cutting off circulation. But how's that feel so far?
Feels good.
All right, so again, we're here. So then I go back and forth. I generally like to use tape here, but I'm starting to use this a little bit more just so it's a little bit more comfortable. And you kind of get that code, man. I got guys who have earbuds in, so as I'm doing this stuff, you know, they know if I tap it, I turn it, you know, if I tap it twice, they open and close, like, you know, because some guys don't want the little chit chat. They get into their place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Stealing something from the great Leonard Gabriel, I'm actually going to have you go ahead and grab that. So I want you to, you know, pull this, make a fist, and you get that exactly where it's comfortable for you between your fingers.
Okay.
Whereas I like to go with this kind of X pattern that we're going to see because one, X going to give it to you in turn, but also, again, it follows like the tendons kind of make that formation there, so I'm just trying to match the natural anatomy.
How many hands do you think you'd wrap? Could you put a number on it?
I mean, like individual fighters, it's got to be close to 100. You know, if you count redos and guys like Colin who's had 9 or 10 fights under me, a couple hundred for sure. Turn again. So now you're going to make a tight fist. I like to do my X first, and this is where, you know, my boxer's posture really comes into play. As every picture of me taping hands, I'm just like rounded out and hunched over. But I'm going to tape down hard here, good X, then I have my boxer open. I can have him turn, so I make sure I line it up with that punch bar, nice and easy there. Bring it around, have him make a good tight fist again. And I'm going to try to line up and get that nice, strong X. I never seem to get that right at the middle, but it's close there. So once I'm there, now I'm going to start with kind of that plywood technique. But it starts with this plywood where I strap here, I have to make a good fist, and then I really go tight there. And we're just going to do 2 layers tight down the line. attach it and strap it. Do one more, open up. Lined up here, make a good fist. Straight across, open up.
Yeah, how sore is your back after a weekend of boxing?
Actually, I mean, the way that my spine kind of naturally like sits this way, so it's kind of nice to be stretching it out here. But it is definitely, man, I get in my car after a tournament and I'm banged up. Now turn your hand for me, let me see.
But
lined up there. Good, so turn it back. So after I do my first line this way, now in order to get more of that X formation, I'm going to do the thumb, go under, and again, very kind of loose here, and then I can have you, which I learned from you just the other weekend, have you make a good fist and find that spot there.
yeah,
The thumb is always tough because, you know, if it's going to pull anywhere when you're making a fist, it's typically at that thumb position.
yeah,
Right? So then if that feels good,
yeah.
I'm going to lock it in using, again, the old salty Josh Herman. I come here, not too much tension there. I'm going to have you make your fist. And then I'm going to pull it tight across here, strap it down there, open up. So then...
It's a shame I won't be able to hit somebody with this.
So that feels good so far?
Yeah.
All right, so then we're going to get our second row going this way again with our horizontals, where he makes a tight fist. I'm just strapping this tape down, doing these little rainbows, right? Now we have tape running X. We got tape running this way, so the last little bit is when we go this way, right? And here's where if I was going to use some of Coach Josh's nice looking,
Hey,
printed...
we're not sponsored by JP Armor yet.
Not yet.
Call me up, JP.
You know, you can kind of gild the lily a little bit. You can put your printed tape on for the end, but generally speaking, you know, I'll do my my vertical strips with whatever I've got. If I want it to look nice, I'll do the verticals with the printed tape. And again, and this is just that plywood theory, you know, where plywood has its strength because it's alternating directions with with the wood. So it makes a good fist. Kind of lining everything up here, trying to get that break off point. So this is generally like, I would be happy sending somebody out in this. That being said, if they need me to, or if I know they have wrist issues, or if we're, you know, any number of reasons why, then I might, if I need to, just throw like right about where that wrist wants to hinge. Again, we'll go tight, loose under the bottom, and we'll just give them one last little bit, you know, here. Loose on the bottom, tight on the top, loose on the bottom, a little tighter on the top. And last thing we'll do, you know, is if I need to, I can kind of clean it up a little bit, you know, and I'm feeling the hand. If his hand is colder, one hand's colder than the other, it's never a good indicator, or never a good sign. That might mean I might have gone a little tight. But generally speaking, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'll take my scissors. I'll kind of make sure the tape is and those air bubbles worked out. That last little bit.
That's a good move. Yeah.
Here and here, right?
I don't know, Coach. It's a little tight. I'm going to do it over again.
Yeah, right.
Do it over again.
Generally speaking, man, this will be pretty good. The last important detail, I'll have him make a fist, and then I grab it and I hit here, okay? Because if I just be like, hey, give me a, I've been punched in the stomach, the chest. I've just been like, boom, get hit here. So
sure.
I hold here, make sure it looks good. That extra little secret spot, you know, you hit it a couple times and you go, oh, buddy, that is weapon grade right there. I don't even know if I should be allowed to send you in with something that nice.
All right, well, that turned out really nice, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame I can't use it on somebody. Yeah, it's really tight in the wrist. Not uncomfortably tight, but I can't move my wrist up and down. I can force it.
Yeah.
But if I warmed up with this, and I feel like it could be really and loosen up just a little bit, soften up just a little bit.
And that's, you know, ultimately what I'm looking for is like, one, I like a good fat punch bar. I want to be able to hold on to that roll of quarters in there, the proverbial roll of quarters, and have a good. And also, if you think about how your fist forms, if you really tighten everything up, it ends up a little bit misshapen here. But you have something even to grab onto. Then as you're making a fist, you're hitting a little bit more like a flat striking surface. So I like a good grip bar, and that wrist support, and then just making sure that there's good compression across the back of the hand all the way across.
All right.
And then after a fight, the big thing I'm looking to do is if I can hold a wrap like this and it's not sagging, it's a good indicator, right? If it stays nice and flat, that tells me that I've got plenty of support, plenty of structure, right?
So how much material did you use in that one wrap?
So that should be, it's roughly 2 rolls of gauze total between the hand pad and the wrist support, and not quite a whole roll of tape. It's, I'd say maybe 3/4 of a roll of tape.
Okay.
And
so double that for both hands, obviously.
Yep. That's so as I'm putting my kit together,
4 rolls.
I'm counting out. Yep, 4 rolls per boxer per fight, and then 2 rolls of tape per boxer per fight, because I inevitably will take that little quarter roll and I'll chuck it in the bag and save it for later.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I always take extras too. Somebody's always asking for something. We also always take a backup pair of scissors.
Yep.
Somebody's always looking for scissors, and you don't want to have them walk off with these ones.
No. Well, and I'll have a pair of scissors in my bag, and then I'll have a pair of scissors in my bucket. I think that's another thing that, you know, you almost have to have different disasters happen along the way for you to be like, oh, never again. You know, like I don't have one bucket. I've got 2, right? I got a bucket that holds the stuff. I got one for wet work, right? Because you only have to have a boxer puke after a fight once, and you realize that the bucket you brought into the ring has your stopwatch, your tape, your gauze, your scissors, your cold compress, your ice bag, and you see that, and you're like, shh. So,
yeah, I always learn from my mistakes. I worked a corner and made it all the way to the ring, did a ring walk for a pro fight, got all the way there. First round, before the first bell, referee comes over and takes a look at the guy, and then he looks down and says, I want these shoes taped in between the first and second round.
Yes.
And no problem.
Yeah.
And the head coach goes, there's a tape, and I'm like, it's in the locker room, you know. So, and this is like the co-main event, this big, there was probably 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
And I had to casually get up, walk away during the first round.
Yep.
Or I'm a cut man, I should be watching the fest. I had to walk away. But as soon as I got past the edge of the crowd, I sprinted down all the way to the locker room. I was back there in a blink of an eye, and then I come back through the doors like Cosmo Kramer, and then walk to the ring, sit down, and just hand the tape. But never again will I leave a locker room without enough gear for 3 fights.
Yeah.
Enough tape to tape my shoes, his shoes, your shoes too.
Well, and you know, the funny thing even about that is like I know to keep usually a partial roll of tape in my bucket just for stuff like that. But the first time I had to do it, man, like my hands shake already between caffeine, pad holding for a decade, all that stuff, right? So even now, like my hands are not good. That's worse than I need to eat. But so if the tape is just gnarled down, it's like you're sitting there and you're just like trying to, and you can't do it, and the pressure's on, and I'm a little anxious in life already. So like the rolls that are in my buckets, I take it, I peel a little back, I fold it over, and I'm like, so then I can just grab it, wrap tape.
I mean, I think that's the coach's job, is to do the worrying, and to do the extra preparation, so those moments don't happen to your fighter where he's like, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the most stressful moments in my experience has been trying to take gloves off of a fighter in a pro fight situation where they're taped on.
Yeah.
And you've been using Vaseline, and there's Vaseline, is sweat and blood all over, and that little edge of the tape is so hard to find. And then they're doing, the judge is about to make the announcement, and they're going to call the fight. Yeah. And your fighter's supposed to go out there. One time, I just cut through the laces and everything. Yeah. They're not our gloves anyways, whatever. They're not going to get used again tonight. Cut through the laces, get these gloves off. You know?
Yeah, you do what you got to do,
man.
I'm
always ready for that. But I learned the trick is try to keep a dry hand.
Yeah.
Or keep the towel, wipe the glove before you look for the tape. But let's get started on your hand.
All right, left or right? What do you like?
What's your favorite hand?
I mean, I'm a southpaw.
Let's do the jab then.
Good answer. I was gonna say I'm a southpaw, and it is the right. The right is the one, man.